why we are here. You know exactly why we are here. Okay? It's UFC Fight Night, guys. Headlined by Ian Gary and Carlos Prates. This is my UFC Fight Night predictions. All right? This is it, guys. All right? Once again, let me start off with I am 72 and 56 with my UFC fight predictions. Okay, I did miss one of the UFC fight nights. Um, I was just busy that weekend, couldn't make my UFC fight, my UFC predictions. But I haven't missed one since. All right, so I don't want to miss one now. All right, so I wanted to make some time for this, you know, this okay card. You know what I mean? Very top heavy. Can't believe we're getting a co-main event in Anthony Smith. It's we're living in crazy times, guys. Living in crazy times. But anyways, let's start with my UFC fight predictions, guys. Okay, we got Chelsea Chandler, okay, versus Jocelyn Edwards. All right, I'm gonna try to go fairly quickly with this one. Um, you know, from what I've seen from Chelsea Chandler, she's just not. How can I say this? I don't see her. I don't see her as a threat to Jocelyn Edwards. I think Jocelyn Edwards, she handles herself really really well, and she's fought high level competition. Um, and I just think Jocelyn Edwards is better. You know what I mean overall. So I'm gonna give it to Jocelyn Edwards to kick off my UFC fight predictions, guys. All right, we're going to the featherweight division, guys. The featherweight division. All right, we got Timmy Camba versus Roberto Romero. Okay, this is gonna be a scrap, man. This is gonna be a scrap. But he's taking short notice fights, and I'm talking about Roberto. He's taking short notice fights, and even in the short notice fights, man, he's shown that he could fucking bring it. You know what I mean? The guy really shows that he can bring it, man. And he likes to stand and bang, man. Roberto likes to stand and bang. Um, he's really one of those guys that doesn't mind just standing in the pocket, man. He'll stand right there in the pocket with you, and he'll trade. And he believes in his power, and usually, it goes well. It goes well for Roberto, man. It really does. It really goes well for Roberto. I like Timmy. Don't get me wrong. I like Timmy. I like his abilities. Uh, Helping pain relief. How you doing, man? How you doing? How you doing, guys? Like and subscribe if you are new to the channel, guys. Okay, like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. It takes minimal effort to give me the thumbs up, guys. So go ahead and do that for me, okay? I really appreciate you guys supporting independent MMA media. But going back to my UFC fight predictions here, look, I like Timmy. I like his abilities. He has a lot, uh, you know, to offer, Roberto. I think he's gonna bring it as well. But I just think when shit hits the fan, and both guys are right there in the pocket. I gotta get it. I gotta give it to Roberto Romero, man. I really do. I'm gonna give it to Roberto Romero. He's one of those guys that just likes to stand and bang, and I believe in it. I believe in it. All right, moving on to the women's strawweight division here. We got Jacqueline Amarin versus Palani, Palania Viana. All right. Mrs. Viana, I like her. Don't get me wrong. I really, really do. I like Viana. It's just, man, when I pick her for some odd reason, she doesn't really get the dub for me. You know what I mean? She doesn't get the dub. She ends up just, looking like a flat tire out there. But not visually. Visually, Viana is fine. That girl is, bro, she's a 10 out of 10. That girl is fine. Okay? But I got to give it a Jacqueline, man. I like Jacqueline in this one. I did pick Jacqueline in the, for this fight. I think Jacqueline's just gonna go out there and just impose her will. I think she's a better overall fighter. I like Viana, like I said, but I got to give this one to Jacqueline, man. I think she's going to bring it. I think she has every ability, man. She could take her down, do some ground and pound there, pause. And, even in the stand up, I think she's just better. You know what I mean? So I'm going to give it to Jacqueline. I'm going to give Jacqueline for this one, guys. All right, this one we're going to the bantamweight division, men's bantamweight division here. Um, this one was tough for me. This one was really, really tough for me. I went back and forth, literally. I went back and forth to who should I pick for this one, man. And I like Malcolm. I like Malcolm Wellmaker. I like Cameron Sayman. I like both. I like both of those guys, man. I really do. Um, Wellmaker, his stand up is really good. And he has, you know, he has one of those, like, not, he doesn't have like punch. I don't want to say he has one knockout punching power, but he has real ability to hurt you and then finish you. You know what I mean? Um, Man, Cameron, I like Cameron. I think he's just one of those dudes that he's just good everywhere. Whether the fight hits the ground, it's a wrestling, match right there, or it's striking. It doesn't really matter, man. Anywhere the fight goes, I like him in any position. Pause. Um, Wherever the fight goes, So for me, I'm gonna have to pick Cameron Saman. I'm gonna have to pick him to win this fight. I think he ends up winning this fight. Somebody's either getting knocked out or is gonna be one of those fights where one of them dominate. You know what I mean? But yeah, moving on. We're going to the men's bantamweight division once again. Um, we got Damon Blackshear versus Alanteli. I can't pronounce his name. I really don't. Alan Chili. I can't pronounce his name, but uh, I did pick Damon Blackshear for this fight, but I just, man, I just hope he doesn't look like a flat tire either. You know what I mean? Because I picked him a few times and then he goes out there and he just doesn't look right. You know what I mean? But I did pick Damon Blackshear to go in there. It's probably gonna be one of those fights where it's like unanimous decision type of situations. But I am gonna pick Damian Blackshear to win that fight, guys. All right. Moving on to the featherweight division here, we got Chris Gutierrez versus John Castaneda. Uh, who did I pick for this one? Man, this one is tough because John is he's another one of those guys that he'll fuck you up. You know what I mean? John Castaneda, he freaking he stands in there in the pocket. He brings it to you. Chris Gutierrez, he's really good as well. Whether the fight, whether you're striking with him or the fight hits the ground, but if it's a striking fight, and I think that's where John wants it. I still give it to Chris. I still give it to Chris. I think Chris Gutierrez is going to go out there, and somebody might just get finished, man. And I'm going to pick Chris Gutierrez to win that fight, guys. Moving on. Moving on to the lightweight division here, guys. Okay? To the lightweight division here. Okay? We're moving to the lightweight division. Guys, if you're new to the channel, like and subscribe. Okay? It takes minimal effort to give me the thumbs up, so you might as well do it, okay? And this is my UFC Fight Night predictions, okay? We got Evan Elder versus Gage Young. Um, I think, I mean, I don't even like Young's haircut. I'm just being real, man. I don't even like Young's haircut. I think he's coming in short notice. And because of that, I'm going to have to give it to Evan Elder. Elvin Elder is one of those guys that just he's he's not necessarily a brawler, but he's a grinder. Evan Elder is one of those guys that he just grinds people to the win. He just grinds people. You know what I mean? And then he just wins. That's basically how he gets his dubs. And I think on a short notice fight against Young, I think he's gonna take advantage of that, and I think Evan Elder wins that fight, guys. All right, moving on to the flyweight division. We got Jimmy Flick, guys. Jimmy Flick versus Matt Snell. Jimmy Flick, he's one of those like awkward type of fighters. But even though he's awkward, he has great fundamentals. He has great fundamentals, and the dude could take a punch. You know what I mean? Jimmy Flick could take a punch. He really can. Um, this is a tough one for me. I like Jimmy Flick. Like I said, he's one of those tough fighters, man. It's hard to finish him. It really is. His fundamentals are really really good, and he's really awkward, so it's hard to prepare for a guy like that. But when it comes to Matt Snell, he's been around for a while. He's fought high level competition, lost to high level competition. He's looked really really good sometimes, but then sometimes he just looked really bad. You know what I mean? And he has an ability to get finished, right? Um, Damn, this one is tough for me, man. Who did I pick for this one? Okay. This one is tough though, because I like Jimmy Flick. But you know what? I'm gonna give it to Matt Snell just because he has more ability. You know what I mean? Pure. If we're talking about pure ability, Matt Snell, he's just his striking is phenomenal. The way his punching and kicking combination is great. Um, so Jimmy Flick is gonna have to keep his head on the swivel. But I'm gonna go for Matt Snell to win that fight, guys. All right, we got a middleweight bout here. We got Andre Muniz versus Akran Eleskarov. All right, and I don't see where Muniz wins the fight, like anywhere, whether it's striking or on the ground. I think uh, Eleskarov is just he's a better overall fighter. Whether the fight is a wrestling fight, type of fight or a striking fight, I think Aleskarov is just an overall better fighter than Muniz, and I think Muniz is gonna feel like he's in quicksand because Aleskarov has that ability to just overpower you, man. You know what I mean? He's taken a loss here. I believe to Robert Whitaker, he got knocked out or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Um, let me actually look that up. I don't want to say false information here. Hold on a second. Yeah, he got knocked out. Yeah, he got knocked out by Robert Whitaker. But that's a legend right there that he lost to. You know what I mean? But I still give it Al Askarov to win that fight. He possibly could get a submission or a finish. So that's the way I see that one going. All right, guys, we're going to the welterweight division here, guys. Welterweight division. We got Randy Brown versus Nicholas Dalby. And you know, Randy Brown, he's just so lengthy. Like he has a lot of length, pause. And his striking is really, really, really good, man. It really is. His striking is really good. And I like Dolby. He's coming off of a loss. In his last three, he's 2-1, I believe. Yeah, let me see. One, two. Yeah, in his last three, he's 2-1. But he's coming off of a loss. He hasn't fought since June of 2024, so it's almost a year since he's fall. Um, I'm gonna give it to Randy Brown, man. I think Randy Brown is just his striking is much better, and I think that's where Nicholas wants to fight. I think Nicholas wants it to be a striking type of fight, and I think just Randy Brown is just better overall when it comes to striking. He's more creative, and he has ability to finish his fights as well. So I'm gonna have to give it to Randy Brown for that one, guys. All right, moving on to the middleweight division, guys. We got Pereira versus Abus Magomedov. And for that one, guys, pure and simple, I'm gonna give it to Abus Magomedov here because Pereira, even though he's ranked and he's been around for a while, he's fought high level competition. He still hasn't really, like, he still hasn't evolved. He still hasn't evolved. He's been in the same place, really, same type of fighter. He's always been. You know his style. You don't really have to watch much tape of him because he's one of those guys that his striking is just phenomenal. You know that he's gonna bring that. That's for sure. But as an overall fighter, he hasn't evolved, and I think Apus Magomedov is just a better overall fighter. His striking is really good, and he has the ability to take you down as well. So I'm gonna have to pick Abus. Moving on to the featherweight division, guys. All right, to the featherweight division. We got David Onama versus Gega Chikanzi. Gega Chikanzi. Um, David Onama, he's one of those up and comers that relies solely on one aspect that he's really successful with, and that is his ability to knock you out. And sometimes, if he can't knock you out, then the fight doesn't go his way most of the time. So, David is going to look for the finish, guaranteed. And if he doesn't get the finish, he's most likely going to lose, either by unanimous decision or split decision. That's guaranteed. So for that, man, I'm gonna have to give it to Gega. I'm gonna have to give it to Gega to beat David. I think he's just more experienced. I think his ability to mix it up with his feet and his hands. He has phenomenal kicks, phenomenal ability with his hands as well. He does. David can finish this fight, but I don't see him doing it. I just don't. So I'm gonna have to give it to Gega to win that fight, guys. All right, moving on to the co-main event, the main event that I couldn't believe the UFC put on, the main event that when I saw it, I literally almost regurgitated and puked. But you know what? Let's just be honest, guys. All right, it is what it is. All right, we got Anthony Smith in a co-main event in 2025, guys. That's where we are right now, guys. That is where we are right now, guys. Anthony Smith is a co-main event of a UFC fight night, guys. Anthony Smith in 2025. All right, we got Anthony Smith versus, man, what's going on here? Versus, why is it doing that? Versus Chang Ming Yang. And look, Anthony Smith is a walking L. I already said this. I repeated this before. No disrespect to the guy. I like Anthony Smith. I really do. You know what I mean? I think he has great abilities when it comes to, commentating and analyzing a fight. But when it comes to getting into the octagon and competing at a high level, okay? Anthony Smith is nothing but a walking L, guys. You want somebody to get a dub, a quick dub? Call Anthony Smith on short notice. Guaranteed he would take the fight. Guaranteed he would take the L. Okay? He is a walking L that, honestly, I don't understand why he's still fighting. I don't understand why he's still competing. And I'm just being honest, man. I think he should be one of those guys that focuses in on, working for the UFC and commentating. You know what I mean. He has a great ability in doing that and getting your head kicked in, caved in, getting more CTE. That's just not necessary. Okay, but here we are, guys. Anthony Smith versus Chang Ming Yang, and look, I'm gonna have to give it to the Chang Ming Yang. Anthony Smith is a walking L, guys. Guaranteed Chang Ming Yang goes in there, cashes his check, okay, and just totally, beats Anthony Smith, okay. It's been like about 4 to 5 months since his last time he's been out. He got finished, I believe, by Reyes. I mean, Anthony Smith, I really hope this is his last fight. I hope I don't see him anywhere else. I hope I don't see him on Slap or anything else. I read an article about Anthony Smith talking about that he wants to start an organization that's a feeder league to the Slap organization that Dana White has. So that might be a great idea. Just don't compete, please. Don't compete, Anthony Smith, please. But I'm gonna give it to Chang Ming Yang to take the dub, guys. All right, here we are, guys. Here we are, finally. Not the co-main event. The main event of the evening. Ian Gary versus Carlo Prates. Carlo Prates stepping up, in competition, facing the number seventh ranked Ian Gary. Ian Gary taking a chance in this fight. Okay, a big chance. All right, and giving another fighter an opportunity to get higher in the ranks if Ian Gary does take this L. But Ian Gary is one of those guys that he can make the fight very, very tough for you. Actually, he has an ability to make the fights really, really boring. All right, even though that's not interesting and entertaining, that is still an ability to neutralize your opponent and make the fight very boring. Ian Gary is one of those guys. And Carlo Prates, look, he's one of those up-and-comers, number 13th rank, okay? All the way from Brazil, all right? He's part of the Nerd Gang. If you look at his, recent fights and recent UFC highlights, the guy is a walking KO. All right, he can knock you out with anything, either a right hand or a left hand. All right, his combinations are amazing. He's very patient. He's been growing as a mixed martial arts fighter. His patience has been growing as well. All right, but one thing that he hasn't done yet was really fight high level competition in Ian Gary. And I'm very interested in seeing where Carlo Prates could really get success in this fight, because Ian Gary, he's really good everywhere. He's a great striker. He's a great wrestler. He could take you down. He has a great Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So where does Carlo Prates find success? You know what I mean? That's where I'm interested in seeing. But with that said, guys, I'm going to have to give you my pick, and I'm going to go with Carlo Prates, most likely going out there and getting a nice finish. All right, I think it'll be the first time Ian Gary either gets finished or Carlo Prates goes out there, makes it a 5-round fight, and gets taken down, gets back on his feet. It's a grinder type of fight, but Carlo Prates stays in there and ends up winning a split decision. That's what I see, guys. That is my UFC fight prediction, guys. Okay, that is it. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. All right, and that's it, man. I see Carlo Prates winning that fight. Cheers to everybody. Enjoy your week. And we're already almost halfway through the week, guys. Okay? So appreciate that. All right? Until next time, guys, this is my UFC Fight Night predictions. All right? Hopefully, we can have a great night and get some more dubs. Because right now, as it stands, I am 72-56 with my UFC fight predictions. And I want to continue getting more dubs than more L's. All right? So, let's see what happened, guys. All right, you enjoy yourselves, enjoy your weekends, and I'm most likely going to go live again. So be